Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back. It is a Tuesday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. I am joined by my good friends, Mr. Quinn Pushkar, who've been holding it down since I was in Alabama. We got Jeff Betos, the life of the party. We also have the legend himself right here in studio. It is the head coach of the Sebring Trojans, I should say Coach Matt Seidel. There's a Mr. in there somewhere, I'm sure, but we want to make sure that you're recognized as Coach. And, of course, we have the brain power that is Ty Bartell. Gentlemen, how are we today?
Doing real good.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Good. Real good.
Quinn? You good?
I'm great.
There it is. All right, let's get right to it. Thank you, Mr. Page. Appreciate it. It was a long, long road back, and of course we got Billy Mack, a little inside joke there. We'll get to some travel stories here in just a little bit. Billy's going to be out for a couple days, as well as he should be, doing right by Kate, going on a little adventure with his girlfriend. So we wish them the best, and of course safe travels to wherever they're going, somewhere in the woods. He was trying to explain it to me. Sounded romantic as all get out, but you're not going to get me in the woods unless we're hunting something. So we'll see. I'm sure he's going to have a few stories when he comes back. You know what day it is, guys? It is National Dog Biscuit Day, all right? And to keep up with what we typically do is off-the-wall questions from the national day at hand. So my question to you is there an amount of money that you would have to eat an entire box of dog biscuits? Now, there's a couple different theories to this. Do you get to choose the dog biscuits you have to eat, or is it more money for somebody else to choose it for you? All right, we'll start with, let's go down to the bottom. Let's go to Ty. How much money would it take
If I get to choose it and it's like those hard breaded ones, those ones, I'll go 200 for that. But now if someone else gets to choose it and they can get me those nasty ass those fresh ones, you know which ones I'm talking about, those soggy ones that come in the fridge. You're gonna have to be looking more towards like the 500 range for me to try to eat a whole bag of those. The price is gonna have to go up if you're choosing for sure.
That's an expensive choice, Ty. I respect it, but keep that number high. All right, Coach, what does it take for you?
Yeah, I got to go with Ty here. First question I'm going to have is how many are in a box? Because that might determine the price a little bit for me. But I'm thinking, somewhere in the $1-2 a biscuit range. That might be doable. If we're
$1 a biscuit. I like that.
Like 100 biscuits or something there. Not terrible. Remember having one as a kid, so. I think we've all been there. You kind of get curious about what the dog's munching on over there.
It's something that, and I'm going to preface this by saying I don't know what Jeff's going to say. It's something that we can all get behind, the intellectual curiosity as a child, and some of us don't get that opportunity, so we do it as an adult. So I guess the other question is how many have actually had a dog biscuit to this point in their life? An entire dog biscuit, one way or the other. My hand's going up. All of us. So we got a perfect 5 for 5.
Coach,
going
don't
on right
lie, Coach. You're from Sebring. You had to eat dog biscuits.
He did.
Yeah,
I feel like my mom's judging me for this.
I think we're all being judged right now.
There you
Jeff, how much money for you to eat an entire box of dog biscuits?
go. You got to go probably about. I'm going to go really high. It's going to be about like $2,000. I'm going to
$2,000?
Yeah, I'm not, dude. Dog biscuits, even if they're like the really good dog biscuits, they're still going to taste like poop. It's going to taste bad. Okay, and there's no way if around about it that they're going to taste terrible. It's a dog biscuit.
The ones are just like really hardened bread. The one that I had, like there was no flavor to it at all. It was just really hardened bread. So interesting, Jeff. $2,000 for an entire box of dog biscuits.
Can I wash it down with something?
No, you gotta eat. I mean, eventually, I guess.
I can't have a dog biscuit, have an ice cold pop, have another dog biscuit, ice cold pop. We can't do that.
You're not drinking pops with dog biscuits. Let's just get that clear.
Well, I didn't want to say it on the live. Okay, I didn't want to.
Are you 21? You can say that you drink.
Okay, yeah. Can I drink ice cold Busch lattes?
Yes, drink whatever. You're probably gonna.
I feel
need
like
one.
that's not the worst combination either, though. Because
No, that's probably right on par.
The biscuit is gonna be right on par with the Busch.
All right, $100 a biscuit, Coach Seidel's terms.
I think it'd be tasty.
Betos ate a Circle K burrito, so I'm saying his cost is low. You literally did this, Jeff.
Like, if you offer me $100, I would probably eat it. I'd probably try to do it.
$100 for a box of dog biscuits, and that's if you get to choose, right? What's the price if somebody else chooses?
It's like if I have to choose, it's 100. But if someone has to choose, it's probably at $400.
There's no rhyme or reason to his math at all.
I'm willing to throw in $25 if he's willing to do it.
So what he's saying now is that if he swears, you guys can just give him a box of dog biscuits and say, eat this instead, and then he'll do that instead.
Anybody that knows us knows that this might go into fruition because we all just kind of look at Jeff and go, hey, how much weird stuff can we get him to do and how much money is it going to cost us?
Whoa.
Yeah, Paige, those are fighting words.
Busch Latte is a favorite amongst this group. I'm not going to lie to you.
Paige, just keep rooting for the stupid Browns and watch them lose every year, all right? Just root for them.
Jeff, who do you root for?
Easy there,
It's fair. We lose all the time, man. We lose all the time. We get it.
Quinn, how much is it going to take for you to eat a box of dog biscuits?
I'm kind of with Coach. It's going to be, I don't know, $5-10 a biscuit maybe, something like that.
$10 a biscuit.
Maybe. I mean, I don't. Yeah, if it has to be dry, I mean, give me a Mountain Dew and I'll drink it for $5 and eat one. I guess I don't know.
It's that Canfield coming out at him.
Yeah, that's only if I get to pick. If I don't get to pick the kind of dog biscuit, I'm not doing it.
Your butler doesn't get to prepare them either. Like you can't have them seasoned.
I didn't know we measured dog
You put
biscuits by
ketchup on
like
any
the
of
per
those.
biscuit ounce is what we're charging here. I just said for the whole box, give me 200. No rhyme or reason. What the hell?
I think the standing fee is $100 for the box, right? If we're looking at the regular dog biscuits, $100 for a box. Call me crazy, probably not going to do it. I'm probably passing on the whole deal. But there is someone on this panel that would do it for $100. I guarantee it. Yeah, and he's sitting over there muted in his room, probably folding clothes weirdly. And I would say that if it's somebody else that gets to pick the random, like Jeff, you were talking about bacon strips. You ate a bacon strip at one point and said it tastes nothing like bacon. That's in the 250 to 500 range. That's like if we're talking about like chemically prepared stuff, that's a little bit different.
I feel like you were just making like a bacon cheeseburger on a budget, and you just saw the bacon strips there. And
I will say this: the bacon strips don't smell bad. There's a distinct smell to them.
Don't do it.
But I would never. Nope.
Do it
I would
now.
never. I would never. I
They
feel
don't
like
taste like bacon. They smell like bacon. They smell awesome. I might say they smell like better than regular bacon, but when you eat them, that don't taste like bacon.
Jeff,
Paige says he's
down,
tried a
buddy.
bacon strip and they're absolutely awful. So Paige, that's something you have in common with Jeff Bezos. So there you go. All right, guys, we have some topics at hand, and not to get to turn the no pun intended, not to turn the page on what we're trying to do, but interestingly enough, some breaking news from NBC and our friends over at Channel 21 WFMJ. See if I can pull this up real quick. Here we go. Breaking news says Tiger Woods was transported to a hospital with injuries following a vehicle crash with, quote, major damage. L.A. County Sheriff Office reports Tiger Woods was the sole occupant of the vehicle, the Sheriff's Department says, and he had to be extricated. Check that word out, Jeff, from his vehicle using the Jaws of Life tool. He was taken to a hospital via ambulance. So what does that look like? Well, it looks just like this. And courtesy to MSNBC for the permission to use this, look at that car. I mean, it doesn't look terrible from that angle, but I've seen other shots that it doesn't look good. And, we pray, and there's a lot of people that have given Tiger Woods a tough time for a long time, but have no it's tough to even get out. Tiger Woods was always a hero of mine since I was in, 4th or 5th grade. And, we were talking about it in the pregame show, and, Kobe, we didn't have a chance to kind of decipher, and it just kind of hit you whenever he passed away with his daughter. So my question to you guys is, we don't know the status of Tiger. It sounds like he's in surgery right now. So my question is what legacy, if that's the last time we ever see Tiger play golf, and hopefully that's not the case, what legacy would Tiger Woods leave behind? Would it be positive, negative, or something other? Well, we'll start with you, Quinn.
I mean, it's going to be both. I mean, everybody knows what Tiger did and that little issue that he had. But, I mean, at the end of the day, he's going to go down as arguably the best golfer to ever golf. I mean, he's, like you said in the pregame stuff with us, is like he's the golfer that everybody wants to be. Me and Jeff have argued back and forth of who's better over the course of their career and stuff. And, I mean, I believe Tiger's the best ever. And it's just he's going to leave that legacy, and people are going to know that he did something else. I mean, it was the same with Kobe. I mean, Kobe left a legacy like that too, and he went down as one of the best players ever to play basketball, and he had a backstory that people brought up as well. So, I mean, it's there. I mean, people know it, but he's still one of the best ever, in my opinion.
You never want to, compare one tragedy to another, but when you're sitting here and you start wondering whose legacy is going to be more felt, is it Tiger Woods or is it a Kobe Bryant? From a perspective of these are not deaths by, disease or anything like that. These were instant. These were, and Tiger is in serious condition. We're not saying that he's dead. Okay, I just want to put out there, it sounds like we don't have enough information, number one. But if Tiger Woods perished in this, would it be similar to Kobe, or would there be more of an impact or less of an impact? Jeff, we'll start with you.
I would say, about the same. It'd be the same. like for the well, no, I take that back. I think Kobe would be a little more extreme than a tragic because he lost his daughter, and on top of the fact, like if you really follow golf, Tiger was the man. You know, I mean, he was the man for a very long time, about 7-8 years there, where he just owned every tournament, and obviously, I hope he's okay. But as we're bringing comments in the thing, he's like he has 2 leg injuries, like. Dude wasn't going to play this week or wasn't going to play next week. I know he had a back injury that his back was hurt again. So it's crazy. Tiger Woods.
Coach, what are your feelings on this?
Yeah, obviously, hope that Tiger comes out of this okay. You wonder about what this is going to do, for his future, for his career. Have to think with all the injury history that this is probably something that could be career threatening. I'm like Paige. I jumped right up on Twitter when I heard the news, wanted to see what I could find. I heard the same thing about multiple leg injuries in surgery and in serious condition. From a legacy standpoint, Tiger's, he's either 1A or 1B. Him and Jack are, right up there together. Guys after that, Arnold Palmer, Sam Snead, the list just kind of goes on and on. Guys that had huge impacts on the game. I couldn't agree with Aaron more. Love Tiger as a golfer. The person is different. And I think that's the thing that you have to think about a lot of times when, there's things like this or where you're talking about the legacies of different players in different sports. The person on the field or on the court is a little bit different than the person off the field or court. But I do think, should this, be more serious, his legacy is intact as one of the best to ever do it.
Ty, what's your take on this?
Well, let me preface this too by saying that I freaking love Tiger Woods. He's kind of like what Ben Roethlisberger is to you, DJ. A lot of people don't like Tiger Woods, but I've always been one that I've always been a huge fan of Tiger Woods. And, I remember on the PlayStation 2 days, the whole PGA golf tours with Tiger Woods on them, 2004, 2005. I always used to play those with my dad. I feel like the legacy is on par with at least Kobe Bryant because, I think there's definitely more fans, I would say, probably situated in the NBA, or at least during Kobe's time. So a lot of people knew who Kobe Bryant was. He was a legendary basketball player for the Lakers, of course. But I feel like Tiger had that impact. He brought a whole nother generation into the sport of golf, too, just with his play. And I just remember I didn't get into golf until Tiger started getting really big. And then I think that's like a lot of that younger generation turned to golf and started kind of getting interested in it, at least to the point where you may not know anything about golf, but you knew exactly who Tiger Woods was because of just the name that he carried and the weight of that name that was in that sport. So I think his legacy, I think it would be on par easily for me, at least with Kobe Bryant. And it's something, I hope Tiger's doing okay. I remember a couple years ago with the return to glory call when he finally got back on top. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, got a little bit emotional about that because I felt so happy for the guy that after all that was able, I think a decade after winning his last major, was able to come back through all that and be able to get back on top. It was a great feeling to see that guy back on top. Like I said, I think Tiger's he's legendary in his own right. I think he's on par with Kobe Bryant. I think legacy status.
I think you're right, Ty. And I think we all have a whether it's secretive or kind of personal, a list of people that impacted our lives in different ways, especially in sports. I mean, we are YSN. We are your sports network, and a lot of people that work here and that like what we do here, sports has impacted their life in one way or another. So, my wife, not a fan of Tiger Woods for what he did in his personal life, but I'm a fan of Tiger Woods because how many golf clubs did he put in hands of youngsters in America or even internationally that wouldn't have otherwise been there? Golf was an old sport. It was a sport that it was, you have Phil Mickelson and to the point earlier, I think it was Paige that said it, broke down the color barrier a little bit, kind of Jackie Robinson-esque. But I will say this is a guy who was, I want to say he was 21 years old when he won big. I think I was in 5th grade. I was drawing pictures of him because, that's the guy I related to because he's young, he's exciting, he's showing his emotion in a sport that you don't show a lot, right? This is a golf clap, right? Tiger Woods is wearing red, putting a target on his chest, doing fist pumps, doing all that stuff that was exciting for me as a young person who loved the sport. I didn't know the sport of golf. I didn't want to play, never played. My dad never played, anything like that. But he was the guy that, Quinn, you said before, when you're throwing trash in a waste paper basket, you're saying what? Kobe, right? I don't think anybody goes out there and doesn't try to act like Tiger Woods in some form or fashion. Like if you hit it and you drive straight down the fairway, you're saying Tiger. You're just like Tiger Woods and his daddy. You know what I mean? Like that thing. So Tiger Woods has a huge impact not only on me, but
Sunday Reds.
Sunday Reds. You're exactly right. I mean, anybody that wears red on Sunday and says Sunday Reds, you know exactly who they're referring to. It's that Tiger Woods.
You definitely make a good point, TJ, and I think just to sum it up, Tiger made golf cool again for a generation that, was turned off by golf, and I think he did. I think he single-handedly made golf cool again for a younger generation and got that whole generation into the sport.
Johnny Bellino saying, as far as their sports, Tiger is far more important. He made a fringe sport just to watch on Sunday. I would argue that. I think Kobe made there was a huge transition between MJ and LBJ, right? And Kobe was the guy. Kobe was the guy that carried the torch for the NBA during those years. And the NBA needed Kobe. And the NBA was just getting to know Kobe Bryant as who he was after basketball. And he was a great entrepreneur, obviously a great father, doing all those things right. That, I mean, you look at the kind of the path that both of these men were on as men, not as athletes. I mean, the athletes, they're at the top of their game, but as men, they had some answering to do to their significant others, and one answered a little bit more of the bell than the other, so to speak. But I will say this is, they're both huge losses, and if that's the last time we ever saw Tiger golf, it's unfortunate because I still think Tiger had a lot more to give. And you know what sucks even more than that is he was starting to play with his son, which was phenomenal to watch. I mean, anybody who, ever played with their dad or dreams of playing with their son or daughter someday, that tie is where it got me. Acting like his dad, the son, it was, his name's escaping me right now. Tiger's son, but it was unbelievable. It was Charlie. Thank you. Must watch television. It was the awesome pictures. It was the awesome video of everything Charlie was doing with his dad. It hits you in the feels, right? So if this is the situation, how unfortunate is that? So our thoughts and prayers with Tiger Woods. Obviously, we'll try to keep you updated. We're not national news. We're not trying to compete with ESPN, but I think Tiger Woods is a name that impacts everybody on this panel and everybody watching in some form or fashion. Let's get to some comments right here. I'm betting it was Tiger versus the field. That's perfect. You took the field. You were crazy. Quinn, you gone? See you, buddy. Thank you. We will never see that again. I think that's a great line by Amo. Like, how many people can take on the entire field other than Jeff Bezos? Tiger is known worldwide. Yes. I'm a golfer because of Tiger. And I think there's a lot of people that feel the same way. How many were red on Sunday now? Great point by Steve. Tiger won the U.S. Open and arguably the hardest course at the world at Oakmont, Pittsburgh on a broken leg. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at this. Everyone hits a Tiger fist pump after they sink a putt.
He tears his ACL in that tournament he was talking about. He was like on a cart path, and before they don't do it anymore. It was like a couple years ago. They used to be able to wear metal tip spikes, so he was like on the cart path, and he said, "I never thought it would slip," and he slipped and like heard it crunch. Like his caddy Steve Williams heard his knee like crunch, and he's like, "Tiger, we can't play." And he looked at him and was like, "Steve," he goes, "You can go beat yourself. We're gonna win this thing." And he won it. Like, it was wild on one leg.
That's Tiger Woods, man. I mean, there's a mentality when you're chasing greatness that nobody's going to stop you. And obviously Tiger went kind of batty for a couple years. I mean, you remember the stories of him running around in combat boots and all that stuff and wanting to jump out of airplanes. Tiger was invincible for a while. Let's just face it. But he's come. I believe he's come back down to earth. He's answering for some of his wrongdoings, both in his personal life and his professional life, and turning things around, and then something like this happens. It's very frustrating. So
I think you have to think about what he did for the industry of golf too.
sure.
You look at the impact that he had as a player. It goes even beyond just the watchability of golf tournaments on TV. It goes all the way to the fact that you saw the amount of golf courses in the U.S. just explode when he was at his peak. The amount of kids that were interested, the first tee organizations that sprung up all over the place in inner cities because somebody that looks like me is doing it.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, man. Like that's the nutty part is how many of today's best golfers, the top golfers in the world. You look at the Dustin Johnsons, Rory McIlroys. Tiger completely opened up the brand of Nike in golf. To the point where they were making clubs, which I'm sure nobody ever thought would happen. But the TW hat is $35, a Nike golf hat is $20. There's a reason for that. Because people chase greatness. They want to be like Tiger Woods. If you're wearing the TW hat, it's the same as if you're wearing J's on the street, right? People recognize who that is, what that represents, and you want to be Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods to me is more comparable to Michael Jordan than Kobe Bryant. That's to me that's the more even kind of comparison. And
in the competitive nature, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Tiger's done so much for the game. Same as Michael, right? You had Magic, you had Bird, you had all these. This is why, in my personal opinion, not to make it especially since Quinn's gone, not to make it MJ is the greatest, but I would say that's why MJ is considered the greatest. That's why guys like Tom Brady are considered the greatest of all time, is because how they changed the game, how they carried themselves throughout the game and off the floor. You don't hear a whole lot about MJ except his gambling trouble or his competitive troubles. You surely don't hear anything about Tom Brady. He's kept it pretty clean, other than the deflated footballs. And Tiger, he's had his issues.
I think I remember too. I mean, when I was a kid, everybody had that original Nike hat, the black hat with the white swoosh on it, because he immortalized it. That was always part of his getup. The Sunday Reds, and then the classic black and white Nike hat. I mean, that like I said, he made that cool again, and he made people want to go out and golf, and same attire as him and everything. But no, I agree with you, DJ, on that level of just competitiveness and what he did for the sport of golf. I think, yeah, it's definitely comparable.
Well, I've officially made my selection to what I'm wearing on Sunday. It's going to be, I'll be in Louisiana, so I'm going to be wearing the Sunday Reds, and maybe I'll wear the black pants as well to go along with it. But it's nothing, right? I'm not a celebrity, I'm not anybody, but it's a tribute to one of my heroes, and hopefully he pulls out and the best. I mean, prayers and thoughts and everything that goes along with that. With Tiger Woods, no matter how you feel about what he did in his personal life, what he did for the game of golf, and how many kids he's kept off the streets, is something to be admired. So he changed his swing and won like 8 majors after. Yeah, I mean, listen, I can't write a book on the guy, but I know how he made me feel when I watched golf on TV. I didn't want to fall asleep anymore.
Jeff? I think he had was it like Butch Harmon is a really good golf coach, swing coach now. He does Dustin Johnson. He has I think it's Ricky Fowler. He had I forget the other guy's name. Paul Harmon or Hammond or something like that.
Paul Heyman?
Yeah, well, it was something like that, I think. But just going back what you're saying about his clubs. I know when he switched from when Nike quit making clubs to switch over to TaylorMade. They said that he did 500 balls he did in one day to make his irons. So his irons are the way that he likes them. So it was 500 balls he hit to make sure those were perfect. And he did the same thing with golf balls. He tried TaylorMades. He plays Bridgestone now, but he tried Callaway golf balls. He just hit them all and tried to make it like it's his own stuff.
Does Nike still make golf balls?
No, they stopped making everything.
Everything?
Yeah. Well, the gear. They still make the gear.
So they make the hats and the shirts and stuff like that, but they don't make the ball or the clubs anymore?
No.
But they don't make any golf clubs. They quit making that. I think it was
golf clubs I knew. Golf balls I didn't know.
Yeah,
So I'm
golf
gonna have to
balls
go
have to
get
be
my. I'm gonna keep all my Nike balls. I'm gonna put those.
I
in
know.
my
I
bag.
remember. I remember seeing them with a swoosh. I think I still have some here too.
I bought an entire box of them one time. Like, and I'm talking like eBay box of them. Not talking about like the sleeves. I'm gonna have to keep those on reserve because those will be worth something someday. Probably not. But all that being said, again, from all of us to all of to Tiger, if he gets to hear this, that'd be pretty awesome. But our thoughts and prayers with you, man. We appreciate what you've done for sports and for golf especially. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, a lot to talk about, including a great list of games tonight, a couple travel stories, and I think we're going to have Steve Leslie, the color commentator for Youngstown State University football. He might be joining us at 3:30. All that, and of course, your G. Berwick Farms, what's your beef, what's your filet, all when we come back on the Ysn Power Hour. Man, it is good to be back, boys, right here, brought to you by these great sponsors.
High-res Futurecast shows steady snow for the next few hours.
Still just downright cold.
It is bitter out there.
Several strong bands of lake effect snow.
Wind is kind of the big story today as well.
So if you need a more detailed winter forecast on WFMJ.com and the Storm Tracker 21 app.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
And welcome back to the YSN Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you. Ty Bartell. Jeff Bezos somewhere in the universe, as he typically just escapes sometimes. And, of course, our legendary coach, one of our go-tos and one of our favorite people in the world, Mr. Coach Seidel. All right, guys, before we get to some of the more serious stuff, the rundown for YSN, I saw this earlier today, and I couldn't help but wonder what the I don't know, the response would be from guys like you and guys like us. We see this stuff with Deshaun Watson. We see this stuff with Carson Wentz, and we saw Stafford, which is why I'm interested to get Jeff back, because we all know that he is more on Matt Stafford than his underwear. But my question is this. I saw this earlier today. Can you imagine if normal people got treated like NFL players? You could come into work one day and your boss tells you that you're getting sent to a subway across the country for a 5th-round pick. So with all the things that we've been talking about in correlation to Deshaun Watson, being that he now supposedly is choosing where he gets to go, not just I want to be traded, but I'm going to be traded to Carolina or Miami. What would it take for you? What are your expectations for yourself? What would you draw back in a return for a team to trade you away? So, Ty, if we're trading you away at YSN, what do you think you draw in return for that trade?
Oh man, that's tough to really think about. I mean, I don't know, because like in that meme you say, like, what the hell is a 5th-round pick for trading someone to like Subway? What the hell does that mean? Like, what are you getting a 5th-round pick for? What do you
get? A bucket of pickles and Ty Bartell.
Yeah. Geez, I don't know. I guess it also depends on where you're trading with me. I guess someone just comparable enough to make calls on basketball games and football games, I guess. I don't know. I can't think of any big names because I don't think I'm on par or on level with any of the big names yet. So I don't know.
Would you be a 1st-rounder?
1st-rounder? I don't know. I feel like for me, I'd be more of those that 3rd or 4th-rounder that has that upside and potential that you don't really talk about, the one that kind of flies under the radar but is going to surprise a lot of people.
Ty, I'm going to be honest with you, and I think Coach Seidel would agree with me. After this weekend, I think you're on the radar, buddy. I think that call, last time I checked, it had 2.8 thousand views on it, just on Facebook alone. So I hate to break it to you, but a 3rd or 4th rounder with you is probably Not going to happen. Trying to be under the radar, Ty Bartel. I can appreciate your modesty, but sorry, buddy. It ain't happening anymore. All right. This is the big – sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying Ty's definitely well known now. I think the secret's out that YSN's got a gem in Ty.
I think, Ty, that you'll probably get the key to the city here before too long with how much that is going to keep going and going. However, I will maintain that Jeff Bezos is still going to run through the tunnel for the Trojans to start the season. So, Coach, we'll get to you. I'm interested in how you handle this question because this isn't one of those normal ones that you can use coach speak on.
Yeah, so immediately when you showed the meme, I thought about, all the bosses and coworkers that I've had over the years that I would have liked to have traded. I think we've all had that coworker or that boss that, we'd feel really good if we walked into the office on Monday morning and found out, they'd been traded for a bag of baseballs to, some city across the country. But for me personally, I've got those days where, I'm like anybody else. I feel like maybe I'm worth, an old bag of footballs or something. And then, there's other times where, I'm like, oh, you know what, maybe I might be worth a little bit more than that. I think it's interesting to think about in terms of, high school football coaches or high school coaches in general. What would you trade your high school football coach for if you could trade him for, another head coach or, maybe a rising assistant somewhere or something like that? It'd be an interesting thought, a conversation to have.
Yeah, I'm excited about. Hang on, I clicked the wrong button. Here we go. I'm excited to. That's really good context. That's really good kind of way to put it out there. With all that being said, though, I think we know what we have to do now. We have to go to Jeff Bezos and understand clearly what he's demanding in return for a Jeff Bezos. Jeff, what do you got for us? You're muted.
Come on, man.
Obviously, he's not worth that.
Not worth a lot now, okay? Now, if YSN's trading me away, it's probably a good thing at some point in time. But no, if I'm going to get traded away, I'm probably mid 6th round pick, a couple McDonald's, couple double cheeseburgers and a milkshake if they're ice cream machines working. That's all I'm worth.
A Busch Light and a dog biscuit.
And a 24 ounce or 25 ounce Busch Light and be like, all right, here you go. This is what you get for Jeff. All right, cool. Thanks, man. That's all it costs you? 6th round and a couple Busch Lattes? I'm all right with that.
Mark chiming in saying Austintown loves Ty Bartel's calls.
Did anybody else think that Jeff Bezos was either going to say Pat McAfee or Matt Stafford in that trade? Because I really thought he was going to say Pat McAfee for Jeff Bezos.
Well, if I ever get traded for Pat McAfee, my life is complete. I'll be all right.
Larry's chiming in saying, I hope you get your Happy Meal supersized, at least for me. Here's a guy that, he's not tradable because he's the general manager of your sports network. He is Steve Leslie, the color commentator for the Youngstown State Penguins. Stevie, what would it take for somebody to get their hands on you from the standpoint of trading for you?
Oh, that would be easy. They probably can get a 7th round draft pick and a couple just extra. What do they call those? Compensatory picks. Those would
compensatory. Yep.
To get me. Yeah, those would do it for me. But I don't plan on leaving YSN anytime soon, so I'd have to up my value hopefully be a number 1.
I love it. I mean, that's why he's the GM. That's why he's the gamer. Guys, over the weekend, obviously, YSU baseball starting on Friday. Myself, Billy Mack, had that one. And on the other side, football started as well. And luckily, we've got kind of some ins there, too, with Steve and Bob Hannon. Stevie, what did you see up in the Fargo Dome, and how cold was it?
It was in the 20s. Wasn't too bad. I'll be honest with you, one of the most explosive stadiums that I've been around. The atmosphere was fantastic. But, dudes, the biggest thing for me is we had Coach Tressel, President Tressel, in with Doug at YSN. And when Doug Phillips talked about representing Youngstown, that was one of his goals, playing hard, playing through the whistle, playing a clean game. I really thought we did that. I thought this group of kids and coaching staff came out, played hard, played physical, and we're right in the ball game. It was 18-7, and the defense gets another stop, and unfortunately we wouldn't be able to play. But I think Doug Phillips is the right guy to turn this program. I really liked what I saw with the football team and the staff of the group during travel. Very organized, very efficient, and I think you're going to see some improvement as this year goes on.
It's funny because everybody measures everything by wins and losses, but as all of us can kind of push to the surface, this is a team that's on the rise. This is a team that the expectations are not going to change whether they go 0-8 or 8-0. So talk to me about what you saw on the field that represents Youngstown the best.
I think what I saw on the field was a team that never quit. I think I saw, at one point, let's be the offense. The offense struggled big time with field position all first half, and you never saw the defense get down. They made big stops, and what I noticed, and I told Bob on a break, was you could see the defensive group getting over with the offensive guys telling them they're all right. So I think the unity of this group, I think Doug that's one of his strong points. He's a communicator. He gets his points across, and let's be honest, these first 4 games are against 4 of the top 15 teams in the FCS. So we're the underdog in all of them, but I would not be surprised if we catch a Northern Iowa or a Southern Illinois in the next 2 weeks and get a W at home at Standby.
I love the fact that we can ask you all these questions nonetheless, but I love the fact that you're going to give us an honest answer. We love our relationship that we have with YSU, and you know Bo Pelini very well, and you're working on the relationship with Doug Phillips, obviously a local guy as well. People that right now are expecting Bo Pelini, like a stormtrooper on the sidelines, Darth Vader-esque, they're not exactly going to get that with Doug. They're going to get a little bit of a different culture with this team. What should we expect with Doug Phillips, Steve?
You know what I say about Doug Phillips? Jim Tressel-esque.
Oh.
Had the vest on, had the tie on. I love the look. Just a different philosophy, a different demeanor, a different relationship with kids, a good football coach. Doug Phillips' coaching tree is a sound one. He was at Iowa State with Matt Campbell. He was at Luke Fickell at Cincinnati. He was part of Coach Tressel's teams early on. So I think he's taken a lot of all those guys. But the thing that struck me most, he did an interview with Bob, and he said the thing that he's learned most is you take something from everybody, but all those coaches told him he needs to be Doug Phillips. And I thought that that was key for me. He saw a cool, collected Doug Phillips on the sidelines and a team with 27 redshirt freshmen going to play their first college football game against the Beast. I thought we handled ourselves really well.
All right, we're going to get to a hard turn here, Stevie, so hang tight with me, okay? I know you can't probably see it because you're driving, but we're gonna do this real quick. I got to take away the sponsor graphic real quick before we do the picture or the video. Here we go. Stand by, and I'll explain it, Steve, because I know you can't see it. Here we go. So it's that time of the year, often imitated, never duplicated. Our Big Dogs of the Year brought to you by our friends over at Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Guys, Baird, it was very difficult. And a lot of people have been asking about the Big Dogs of the Valley contest. When you have teams that are staggered, some of them play in the early part of the year, some of them can't play until the new year, it's tough to keep things even. So what we decided was, as a whole, and this is why it's so funny, because we saw other outlets decide that they're going to hold a Player of the Year, Coach of the Year contest, and this was actually scheduled to launch tomorrow. So why not make up a nice little graphic and show it up today? So this is how the Baird Brothers Big Dogs of the Year works. So one boy, one girl, and then a pair of coaches, one boy coach, one girl coach, is going to be selected. However, for the first time ever, everybody's on the table. Each team will have one representative from each squad. So every team that's represented from the YSN standpoint for boys basketball and girls basketball will have a representative. The coaches, well, they are the coaches, right? So they will have the chance to be the coach of the year. We'll have one boy and one girl basketball player of the year, also known as our Big Dogs of the Valley, Big Dogs of the Year. So starting tomorrow, there will be representation on every team of YSN. You'll be able to vote for them. We have very little kind of hands-on with this as far as who were selected and who was selected, other than obviously the coaches. But you'll be able to vote as many times as you'd like. So my question to you guys, we'll start with Steve since he's in the car. Stevie, from your standpoint, who has been where's your vote going for Player of the Year?
I would have to say in the girls, love Coach Grisdale's daughter, the way she plays the Poland Bulldogs. She's had a great year. Jackie Grisdale would be my pick. Lamparty obviously is right there from South Range. To come off the injury she had and do what she was doing now to come back and help this team, I think, is up there. And on the girls, the coaches end, I'm a big Fish fan. I really am. I think he's done a great job. They've had some injuries, but there they are right there again in the mix for another long tournament run. Boys end, boy, I don't know how you can go against Coach Warnecki. Strother's undefeated. The Division II, I've heard all you guys all year talk on the show. Would be the best Division II tournament around, even being split up. And to stay with that, Troy Metzger has been unbelievable for the Struthers. So if Struthers is able to win the district and get to the regionals, Cheney's going to be right there also. I think it's one of those two teams, but I would say Warnecki and Metzger on the boys' end.
Not a boy. All right, Stevie, we don't want to cause an accident or anything. Keep your Tiger Woods away, all right? So
we'll do that. Good talking to you. And you know what? I know one thing about Coach Phillips. I got to talk with him. Loves what you do at YSN. Loves the support we give on YSN with Bob Hannon calling Ronnie's show and you guys talking YSU football. I know he appreciated it a whole lot.
Anything we can do for Coach Phillips is always a yes. So thanks, Stevie. We appreciate you. Miss you. We'll see you soon, buddy.
All righty. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. The question goes over to you now. Ty, since you had so many calls, let's talk about your Player of the Year, boys, girls, and your Coaches of the Year.
For my boys' Player of the Year, and it might come as a shock, and I mean, if you want to say shock, it's going to lead right into it. It's Kyle Shockley from Waterloo for me. And I mean, seeing a lot of great talented kids this year, I mean, like I've seen the Todd Simons, I've seen the Trey Metzgers. There's a lot of talent in this year, so I don't want to snub anybody here because there is a lot. But I mean, what Kyle Shockley is able to do with the basketball, his ball handling skills, one-on-one, you can't guard him. It's a team effort to stop him. Up there in Waterloo, and what Kyle Shockley is able to do, I wouldn't be surprised if he could walk on to YSU right now and get a scholarship basketball-wise, because I truly believe he has that much talent. Girls basketball, Grisdale's hard. Vuletic is right there for me, though, too, because seeing what Vuletic has been able to do with Western Reserve, and I mean, height is such a factor, and you just can't teach height in basketball, but she has the skill to match it. And I mean, the skill matched with the height that she has, she's such a dominant force. Grisdale is such a close second. It's almost that 1A, 1B for me with Vuletic and Grisdale, but I'm going to say Vuletic just slightly, ever so slightly above Grisdale. Coaching-wise, I really like for the boys, and I really like Coach Francischelli for the McDonald's squad. I think what he's done there, I mean, 18-2, I believe they finished, though, but I mean, such a great disciplined group of guys over there, and getting to know Coach Francischelli and how he runs his program, so much respect for him on that end, so I would definitely say him. Girls' side, I don't want to go right back to Western Reserve, but I might have to, because, I mean, I never got that chance to really know how Coach Miller runs his squad, but again, it's a tight ship over there in Western Reserve, and he consistently is always making that program successful and bringing up new girls to replace the seniors as they go in. And I mean, he does that through such a good program on foundation on defense and just teaching them all the little things and makes them better overall players in that 4-year stretch. So for me, I would say at least this year, Coach Miller for the girls' end on coaching side for Western Reserve.
Great insight, my friend. Let's go over to Jeff, and Coach, we'll let you kind of clean up the rest. Jeff, go ahead.
Well, Girls wise, I'm going to go with Tristan.
Krista Perry?
Tristan? No, the girl from Valley. Gill.
Kristen Gill.
Kristen Gill, yeah, she was electric in the playoff game when I watched them for Heartland. She was electric against East Palestine when I saw her. She just overall can handle the basketball, rebounds the basketball, steals the basketball, does everything for Valley Christian. Boys wise, I'm going to go with Todd Simon. I got to see him play on Saturday, and that kid he's just unlimited range. Plays defense really hard, traps and steals and takes charges and blocks shots and gets rebounds. Coaching wise for the girls, I'm going to go with Jeff Fischel from South Range. Going to be a little bit of a homer. He's done a great job the last 2 years. Always a great coach. Coached me when I played baseball, and that was not very hard because I can't play baseball. But was coached freshman boys basketball at one point. He did a great job at Fort South Range. And girls wise, it's pretty hard. I'm going to go with the Salem coach, Hamilton. Is it Hamilton?
Sarah Hamilton, yes.
I'm sorry. I apologize. No, but she did a great job over there. They won their first ever share of the title last night, and that's what great job that she has done there is unbelievable. So yeah.
Good job, Jeff. Almost made it. That was like a 96%er for you, buddy.
That's not it. Can't be the hoodie. It's his house. When he's in that room, the knowledge is there. Then he's got all this great insight.
Well, it's the same hoodie, so let's not get carried away. He's still got that YSN hoodie tagged on. But did they put like extra oxygen in that room, or what's going on, Jeff?
What was that?
He's back. All right, on to Coach Seidel, Matt. What's your thoughts? You've had a chance to watch a lot of YSN this season.
Yeah, I did. Obviously on the boys' side, had a lot more opportunity to watch most of the NBA C games with doing the book for the Trojans. It's really hard to go away from a guy like a Kyle Shockley or a Jake Portalese. But I'm with you guys. Haven't seen Todd Simon play. I think he's probably well deserving of Player of the Year this year, Big Dog of the Year for the Mahoning Valley. Coaching wise, I think Ty said it best. Coach Jimmy Franciselli, what he's doing and what he's been able to do with carrying forward the McDonald basketball program and the tradition that they've started to build over there. The job that Coach Rizzo, it kind of started, and now he's being able to just kind of carry that tradition on. I think, it's hard not to look at that and say, man, that's impressive. Haven't gotten a chance to watch as much on the girls' side. Did get to watch Jackie Grosedale play, blown away. Got to see Danny Vujic play. Again, I think the size, especially in Division IV, it's really hard to compete with. So either one of those for me could easily be Big Dog of the Year in the Valley. And then, I got to go with Jeff. I think Coach Hamilton over at Salem for the girls coach, the job that she and EB and their staff have been able to do over there, just a really incredible job this season.
I really appreciate you guys giving that insight. Naturally, what we'll have tomorrow is a link similar to our Bear Brothers Big Dogs of the Valley, where we will have a huge, and I'm talking like you'll have to scroll, like your finger's going to need a workout because you're going to be scrolling so much down the options for Players of the Year, Coaches of the Year as well. And we might throw in a little maybe Announcer of the Year to get some recognition here at YSN as well. Yeah, This has been pretty stinking good this year for basketball, and he's traveled all over God's green earth to bring it to you. So appreciate that. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. The promo is already out there. The link will be out tomorrow. You can vote for your player as many times as you want, and that's how we like to do it here. If you're willing to put in the time and effort for your team, your player, then you deserve to be rewarded. So the coaches will be out there as well. And again, you can vote for them as many times as you'd like as well. All right, so we'll catch up on, here we go. Billy McCartney from the Woods saying Sherrod Taylor, Cheney Boys, Player of the Year. I don't think anybody's going to battle that one either. Jeff, do you like that?
Yeah, I like it. The kid's a stud. He's lengthy, he's tall, he's fast, he dribbles well, he makes space when there's really no space. And yeah, it's not a bad pick, Billy.
Can't wait to have Billy back on the show and talk about some of our travel stories. Literally, I think we already talked about it. On Friday, we landed, and the plane went sideways. Like, I thought that was it. Billy and I are going down together. They won't be able to tell us apart except for the hair on our face. So I was excited. I mean, what a great trip. Billy was a great travel partner. I'm excited to do more of that stuff in the future, and he showed his leadership down at YSN as well. So, Billy, hope you have a good time with Kate, enjoying your couple days off. You are deserving of it, and God bless you, Kate. You are very deserving of it as well. All right, that's going to lead us into our G. Burbick Farms What's Your Beef, What's Your Filet, brought to you by G. Burbick Farms. Their farms to your freezer in no time at all. Visit them on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Let's go to Coach first. Coach, the floor is yours. A filet, beef, or both?
I'm going to go with the beef today. Tuesday's a good day for beef, so we're going to go ahead and go with it. Went down to the local library here today to do a little bit more research on this history of our program, and they've got a 1 hour time limit on being able to view the microfilms on some of the old news articles. You're scanning through and it's taking forever. They're on old 35 millimeter film. I'm like, I barely got through 1 month of film before I got kicked off the machine and basically told I had to go home for the day. I was like, come on, guys, there's 4 people in here total. So my beef's with the library.
I can appreciate that. My beef's with the library as well, but for different reasons. Naturally, I don't like it in there. It scares me at the library. But we'll save that for another day. Jeff Bezos, beef, filet, or both?
No beef, filet. It's just that the weather is getting nice. It was beautiful outside. The snow's melting, the ice is melting, so it makes my job 1,000 times easier at the school, so I don't have to salt and chip off snow or ice. So yeah, I'm good.
Attaboy. All right, Ty, what do you got for us?
I'm gonna go filet, and I've gotten an outpouring of support and a lot of people thanking me or congratulating me, saying whatever on the call at Sebring versus Springfield. It's very humbling to get some sort of recognition like that, but I'm more glad for the fact that Matt Bird was able to not only have that call, and I hope that the call did him justice, and I'm glad that it seems like it did, and it's something that he's going to be able to carry with him for the rest of his life, and something he can go back and listen to, because it was a great shot, and it was a great moment for Sebring in school, in history, and for that kid's life. So I'm glad that, from what everyone else is saying, that I was able to do that kid justice with a call that he's going to remember for a long time. So that's my filet.
You knocked it out of the park, man. Like, I was so proud of you from miles away. Billy and I watched that, probably a dozen times a piece. And it's fun because that's why we do what we do. We do it because we love it. We do it for opportunities like that. We're going to have stinkers of games. We're going to have games that are just regular, 10, 15-point victories. And then you're going to have those moments that will last forever, not only for you, Ty, but for Sebring basketball. Hopefully there's a Coach Seidel that's 2 or 3 years old somewhere. And down the line, they're going to be, not doing microfilm. They're going to be checking on YSN for all those great calls that our team, and especially Ty, that one brings to you. So thank you very much. That was awesome, man. Just absolutely awesome. You epitomized everything that we want here at YSN. As far as beef goes, I don't have much of a beef other than, delayed flights that caused Billy and I to get in a few hours later than typical yesterday. The filet is just, days like today, I know we use this a lot, but, we've got a ton of games on the schedule, and the opportunity, and we've had people reach out to say, hey, I want to cover the entire cost of this particular team's run in the playoffs because I want everybody to get it for free because I want these kids to be seen. While we appreciate that, we certainly do, and trust me, I would do it if I could. We went down this road once before, and it's very troublesome because if one team you can see for free and 42 or 43 others you can't, there's going to be a lot of questions, and people don't often see the reason behind it, and we get a lot of heat from that. So for $9.99, you get all the games, right? We have people that want $125. I'll send you a check right now. we appreciate it. We certainly do. But for $9.99, you're getting like 70 cents a game. I mean, you don't get that anywhere. So just if you're looking to watch basketball, if you want to watch today's brightest stars, boys, girls, otherwise, wrestling this weekend as well at Austintown Fitch, it's $9.99. You can get as much as you possibly want. And then if you want the on the back end, if you want the archive, it's $2.99. So we appreciate the support, the outpouring of this is why we're doing it, because the OHSAA, it's $125 a game or this much an event. So, unfortunately, it's something we have to do to not lose our ass in as they say, in business. And we want to be able to do this for you next year, right? So we can't just pour all our acorns into the one basket and try to bring it to you free of charge. We've had great partners that have been doing great things for us through the regular season, WRS Wealth Advisors. We've had numerous sponsors step up and say, hey, we'll take care of this. But we don't know the cost. That's the trouble. When you don't know the end cost, X equals to Y equals Z, we can't put a number on that. So thank you to everybody that's watching. Naturally, we want to be able to give you as much basketball, as much sports as we possibly can. And there are some exciting announcements coming this week and next. So make sure you stay tuned to that. But more importantly, that's going to do it for our show. Make sure that you tune in tomorrow afternoon and start voting as many times as you can for players, coaches in your area, because they can be the big dog of the year. Whether their stats show it or not, it's all about support on this vote. So thank you very much for everybody for supporting that. Thank you to our great panelists here today, Ty Bartell, as well as you two guys, the linemen, the offensive linemen up front, making sure that nobody gets to the quarterback here today. Jeff Betos, Coach Seidel. Thank you to Quinn Pushkar.
I didn't play offense.
Sorry.
Couldn't remember the plays. Couldn't remember where to go. So Coach Higley was like, "Yeah, just go play defense, bud. Yeah, you're good, dog."
Coach,
Jeff is what we would refer to as a red shoelace kid. You got to put that red shoelace on the right foot so he remembers that's the right side.
I did go the wrong way a couple times. We did have to go left or right. I think I went.
We just got to make sure the Twizzlers don't get confused for the red shoelaces. That's going to do it for our show. Special thanks to Steve Leslie and Quinn Pushkar for coming in and coming on. And we will see you tomorrow from 3 to 4 right here on the Ysn Power Hour. That's going to do it. See you guys.